I'm gonna talk about people because that's what we're here to talk about today in my aspect of this presentation. And so first thing I need to know is I kind of need to know who I'm speaking with. So I want to know the audience a little bit and kind of see where everybody's at. So if I can get kind of like a quick show of hands, who runs like their own landscape business? Awesome. That's what I do. All right. So who here is like a greenskeeper or a superintendent for a golf course? Cool. I don't do that, but I do people, and I think that's where we're going to connect this thing. Is people doesn't change no matter what you do. Whether you run a business, whether you're out in the town, you're running a golf course, superintendent, you're running your guys there. People doesn't change. It's serving those people, and so that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to dive into that. And Zach, if you'll hit that thing for me. Forgot the little clicker and forgot all the stuff we needed. So we're gonna make this work. Real quick, now I kind of know who I'm talking to, where y'all are at. Tell you a little bit about me real quick, make this real short. I'm a family man, take pride in taking care of my family, making sure that they get to see the best me that they can see. And they're people, they're part of my clan, they're part of my business, that's what I do. Down here at the bottom, I've got that I'm an industry advocate. And the reason I put that up there is I want to see the best in the industry. I grew up in this industry. So I want to see the industry succeed. I don't want to see it fall. And so seeing people in this room here today take time out of their schedule to come and get credit hours and talk about the industry is important to me. I'm not the oldest fella. I'm only 33 years of age, been in the business since I was born. So the industry is not new to me. But I have a passion for it. And I see a lot of younger folks don't have that passion in the industry, so I want to bring that back, which is why I'm up here today. So I'm going to click over to the next slide. Now, when you start talking about people and the industry and you want to merge those two together, you have to kind of know a mission of where you're going with it. And so the Turfgrass Council of North Carolina has put this on. So thank everybody here. I know that you're part of it, Marcy's part of it, and call to speakers, emails that have got sent out, kind of made this thing happen. But the Turfgrass Council has a mission, and some parts that I've bolted out is to promote the turfgrass industry and a continuing education. And so that's a group of people that have come together and said, hey, this industry is professional. It's been around a while. It's nothing new. And to promote that industry, there has to be some form of longevity there that says, hey, we mean serious business. Has anybody seen a license plate looks like this? Now, I'm a new member to the Turfgrass Council. I just signed up in October when I got the call to speakers email, and this thing kind of happened. But I'm not new to the industry, and this license plate was on a 1994 Chevrolet dump truck that my dad drove when he started the business in '89. So I've seen this license plate around. I've seen the Turfgrass Council. It's nothing new to me. It's something that I grew up in. And so when we're talking about other advocates for the industry, you've got the North Carolina Landscape Contract License Board. And that's a group of people. Formerly that was the North Carolina Registrations Board. So in 2014, it became a board and started having all these license requirements. Before then, if you did it, you were pretty much doing it because you wanted to do it, because you wanted to be in the industry. And that's where our company started. My father got licensed and wanted to be seen as a professional, not just a hobbyist. But it's all because a group of people put all that stuff together and said, hey, we need to be seen as professionals, not as the fly-by-night guys, not as the guys who just go out and spray lawns and hope for the best, but people that actually come, get continuing education. They maintain a high professional standard for the industry, and you put all that together and you've got a winning thing. Now, to drop down to us, Landscaping Unlimited, that's the company that I run. We've got our mission statement, and in there I've got boldened up to serve our clients and to place people over profits, because that's the foundation that our business was built on, and it gave us all the success we had. Nothing to do with going out there and just doing the most jobs. It was putting those people first, making sure that our clients were satisfied, making sure that our people and our company You can click that. We're taken care of and making sure that their needs were met. So you've got to ask yourself, why are you here today in these seats? Why am I here? Well, you're here because you care about the industry. You're here because you want to see it progress into something else. If you're not here to see the industry that you work in progress, then you're in the wrong industry. You should change. You should find out and evaluate yourself because you're a person. So you're part of this conversation. No one person is left out. It's all part of people business. Click that over. So you've got to, if you're in the industry, you have to promote it. You have to be an advocate for it, which means that there's no, obviously we've already established there's no landscape business owners in here, but you've got to advocate for your industry. We do have one? All right. Who runs their own business? Cool. So you've got to advocate, for your business. You've got to make sure that people are abiding the law. If they're, I'm pretty sure you can probably name 3 or 4 people that are acting landscapers with no license right now. They're hurting the industry. You've got to promote and advocate for those people to get their license, because ultimately you coming together promotes the industry and makes it seen as a profession rather than a backdoor hobby. Now I'm here because I believe that. I've lived it my whole life. I've seen somebody build a company revolved around it, and I believe in it as a future. So I want to see other people see it as a future as well. Now, to really dive into people, mostly what I was planning on talking about was business side of things in my business and other landscape businesses, and how your team dynamics really affect, the functionality of your company. We're going to pivot just a hair because golf courses operate just slightly different, but they still have the same aspects. They still have people. They still have teams of people that show up every day to produce a product that is to be satisfied to their client. And if you're on a golf course, your client is the golfer. It's the guy that's out there coming out to the course, wants to check all the things out, wants to play a nice course. He doesn't want to go out there and put on a green that is bumpy or not been aerated in a couple of years, and the grass is patchy. It's got poana covering all over it. I'm sure you guys are probably fighting poana somewhere. It's the devil. But that's what you want to do. You got to serve your client. And so you got to know your team, and your team has to be on the same page as you. So you have to have your team understand the mission you have. So when we had those missions up there, it's important that all your team that you have understands that and that you align with that. Because if you don't align with that, then things are going to start getting a little wonky. People aren't going to start doing their job. They're not going to show up. They're not going to have the same passion you have with it. So things are going to start changing. If you'll click over one more. So to really dive into that portion of it, this is going to take a while to dive into, and some of it's going to be on the business side. The golf course side will relate to this as well, because I've been to a few golf courses and I know that they look good. So I know these conversations happen. Your goals. We talked about mission statement, but clearly every crew, every company, golf course superintendent, country club, whatever it is out there, you should have a goal as a business, as a person, of where you want to see yourself going. Is it 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when your kids are old? What is your goal there? Where are you trying to go with this? You have to set that. You have to write it down. You have to make sure that that's where you want to go, because you're the starting piece of this. You're a person. Once you do that and you set that goal down, well, now you know, all right, how do I get there? If you're running a business like we run, then you've got to have a team of guys that share that enthusiasm that you have. You have to share this goal with your team. You have to talk about it daily. You have to keep things on track, because the minute that you don't, the train starts derailing. And I know everyone here is not new to life. If you don't stay focused, then things derail quickly. It happens. It's life. But when you run your business and you run your team, you have to align those goals together. You have to talk with your team, find out their goals. Do their goals align with you? If they don't, that's okay. Not every team member is meant to stay with you. We've had guys come in and work with our company. We had one wanted to be a highway patrolman. He just needed a job to get him through his highway patrolman portion of his schooling, his BLET. His schedule didn't exactly work with ours, but he showed up. He was passionate. He wanted to be there. He wasn't late. He was dependable. His end goal didn't meet ours, but his passion for what we were doing did. So we hired him. One of the greatest employees we had for about 8 months. Do I wish he could have stayed forever? 100%. But ultimately, his goal wasn't that. It's cool. I'm glad he went on to do what he wanted because that's his goal. But in the process, he helped us reach some goals. Because while he was here, he trained other guys. He was talking to other people. He was setting an example for the rest of the team. So sometimes when the end goal still doesn't meet yours, sometimes you still need that guy in your company. Because what he might bring to the table might be something you can't reproduce. Even if it's only for 8 months and you've got a 10-year plan, well, guess what? For 8 months, he helped you climb a ladder to your 10-year plan. That's important to have. I'll give you a quick example, another example of that. This man right here works for me now, works with me. I'm not going to say for me. I don't like saying that, but he had left us for about a year period. Before he left, he came into the company. Company flipped, changed. We completely re-envisioned the way things were. I would have never been in this position had that not happened. Helped me get to these goals. He left for a little period of time. Realized, hey man, I got to have this guy back. So called him up, told him I'd buy him a Monster every day, and I had him. But
cheap labor.
yeah, well, I got to pay him too. The Monster's the bonus. But I had to know the team. You know, where our goals were a little bit misaligned at one point, and now we've got the same goal. We want to see something succeed. So now we're back there. And that goes for each one of my guys. Not everybody has the same end goal, but we all have the same passion. And I make sure that we all have that every week, once a month. You know, we have a little sit down, little toolbox talks, tailgate talks, greens talks. I don't know if greenskeepers, if you guys meet out on a certain hole and, hey man, this is the problems we're facing. We need to talk about this and get this situated. You pick out that one employee that you know drives that aspect and does it really well. Hey, I need you to focus on this because that is what you do well. You do that exceptionally well. Focus on it and take it. Run with it. Produce the results that you need to produce because all your employees know what results you need because you've already set it in your mission. You've set it in your standards that you've set in your employee handbook. So you've gone over all that with them. They know what you expect from them, and they should produce that. If they don't produce that, you should have that talk with them and say, hey, the goals aren't lining up. Can we get them to line up? And if not, then you have to put emotion aside, let that person go because ultimately they might keep you from reaching your goals, which is a satisfied client. Now, 3, mission. We've kind of touched on all this, but I want to put it into aspect as to how this is going to go around to solve the Rubik's Cube and why it's important that it's in this order. So 1, we've got our goals is where we started. It's where we want to get to. 2, we've got our employees and we want to make sure that everyone aligns is on the same page. 3, you've got your mission. So how are you going to take the team you've got and continue mapping out to get to those goals? And so that's why it's a little map down there. It's a little road map of everybody walking around doing their job. But when you send your crew out, there should be no second guessing. You should have that talk with them to say, hey, I trust you. You know, you send them out to fix those problems on the green. You send them out to fix the fairways, the roughs, the sand traps. There should be no second guessing that you have to come behind them and check it because the mission is for them to execute what they have to do because you've had the toolbox talks and they know the goal. So they're on the way to solving that goal and getting there. Now, when they're solving those problems, they're going out there for us. It's customers calling us. They got moles. We love those. They call us. They say, I've got poana. They didn't put out any pre's. I love those. They call us. They got crabgrass, but they've got dog that tears the yard all to pieces, and they can't sod it to save their life. They got shade. The centipede won't grow. Yada, yada, yada. Soil's dead. New construction. They didn't bring any topsoil. And they give us all these problems. And so our job as business owners or as greenskeepers or anything that it is to solve the problem that someone's presenting to you. That is the goal. That is like what you end up doing is you're problem solvers. That's what we are. So if they call you and they give you the problem, you go over with your team, you explain to them what you've got to do. You've come up with a mode of attack. You're on the mission. You're working for the client. You're out there on that job. Well, that job didn't happen without an interaction you had with them. They called you on the phone. They caught you in the clubhouse, told you what was wrong on the greens. There was some feedback there. There was some people, an interaction with people there where you gained their trust. If you didn't gain their trust, then you don't have a job, because they didn't hire you because they were like, well, we're just going to hire the first guy we can find. They hired you because you had an interaction with them and they trust you. And that is something that is hard to establish. And once you establish trust with someone, you've got it until you break it. It's much easier to break trust than it is to gain it. Once you break it, you never get it back. So that client comes first. What you say you're going to do for that client, you do for that client. What you say you're going to do for your team, you do for your team. What you say you're going to do on the job, you do on the job. And I hope that you guys are starting to realize that it's as much of a personal thing as it is a team thing, because you're a person. And I'm going to say that over and over again, because ultimately it starts with you. So if you don't look in the mirror and accept of where you want to go, then how can you expect the team you put behind you to get you there or to go with you? How can you expect the customer to trust you, to let you take their yard, turn it into something phenomenal, if you didn't gain trust and you don't believe in yourself? You have to believe you can do it. You have to know you can do it. And a lot of that comes from classes like this, Green and Grow Show events, Quip Expos, Construction Expos, whatever these expos or events that you may go to, the Lawn Landscape Convention, that's, I think it's in Arizona. You go to these things and you learn, you continue in ed. You don't put that in there because you're not passionate. You do that because you love what you do. And so you pass that on to your customer. You educate your customer. You tell them what it is that they have in their lawn, how you're going to fix it. You give them step-by-step plans on what you're going to do to eliminate it. And then you execute that to the T. If you don't execute it to the T, then you've started to break the trust. Will they let you finish the job? Probably, because you're already there. Will they hire you back? Probably not. They're going to hire someone else that they trust and that executes and that they keep long term. Greenskeepers are going to be the same way. If the golf course looks great, the greenskeeper's staying. If the golf course starts looking bad, he's probably going to get a dock and pay, which is going to be not working there. So you want to make sure that your clients are satisfied in what you do. Now, it's also crucial in how these merge, how people merge between employees and clients. You gained all the trust with them when you sold the job. You gained all the trust and kept it when you showed up and you did everything you said you were going to do. But what about when you leave to go sell the next job and your guys are there working, or the team's out there going to punch and sand the greens because you've got an educational event you got to step to? I'm running through that right now today. Phone call rang this morning talking about cutting some concrete because we do a little bit of everything. And I know that when I hung up the phone, I don't have to worry about it. The guy's going to do what he's trained to do. But you have to know that when you are not there, your team is going to provide the same satisfaction that you're going to give, because they're the face of your company. They are you, and you are them. They wear your logos. They wear the country club emblems. They promote everything that it is that you do. They promote themselves because they work for you. which means that wherever they're at, outside of work, at work, they promote Landscaping Unlimited. They promote whatever business it is that you run. So when you're not at the job, they have to deliver the same thing. They have to have the same passion. They have to know the same goals, clear plan, which all comes from your toolbox talks, your on-site job meetings. Your customer now knows, hey, I'm handing the job off to such and such because I'm leaving, but they're going to take care of you. You've just now passed that trust on to them, and now everyone is in the know. Communication is a big thing. I've failed at communication more times than I can count. And through it all, I've learned that communication is where a lot of this stuff breaks. As long as you can communicate, then people understand, because people have the same things happen in their life. It's not new to them. So you have to communicate. You have to explain what it is you're doing, why it is you're doing what you're doing, and then give them the results that you promised. Another key thing is overprompt. Well, I'm gonna butcher this one. It's there you go. Under promise, over deliver. I don't know why I wanted to put the word sell in there and I couldn't get it out in my head. But yeah, under promise, over deliver. So tell them that you're going to fix the lawn. You don't have to go through step by step which blade of grass you're cutting, which sprig you're moving. But then when they show back up, they need to go, wow, I sure am glad I hired you guys. And there should be no shadow of a doubt as to why they hired you. They should hire you again because you've had that connection that you can't break. Now, another key aspect that is to this is after you've met that client and you have done everything that you can do, your team has done everything that they can do, you got to get paid. Now, whether that's monetary as a paycheck if you're on the greens, like on the golf course, and it's a job for you, or you're a business and you need to get paid from your customer so you can go to the next one. So we've got what my father taught me at probably 12 years old when he dropped me off at a job site and left and didn't come back till 3 in the afternoon. And he asked me, he said, "Are you done?" I was like, "I think so. I think I'm done. I think I've done everything I can do." And what he gave me was what we call the pocket invoice now. At the time, we didn't have a name for it. It just was the invoice speech. But we've coined it now the pocket invoice. And the pocket invoice is when you finish that job and you feel like you've done everything you can do, you got to ask yourself, when I pull that invoice out and I go to talk to that customer and I give it to them, do I know without a shadow of a doubt that they're going to shake my hand, they're going to pay the invoice, and say, "Job well done"? If for any reason, as I'm walking to the front door, I'm going, "Oh man, I don't know if Tommy blew off the sidewalk. Man, we got some dirt on the street. I don't think we cleaned it all up. Man, that irrigation, that one head was leaking just a little bit. I should probably go back and check that. Maybe the check valve is messed up in that one head. Maybe the drip tubing has a little pinhole. Don't worry about it. No, you need to fix it. If that doubt is in your head, then you're not ready to hand the invoice. Put it back in your pocket. You go fix what it is that you saw was wrong." So on the golf course side of things, you're punching the greens, the aerator breaks. Do you leave and not come back? No, you go fix the aerator. You come back, finish punching the greens. You guys probably have multiple aerators, I assume. One?
No, that's great.
Nice. But you got to make sure the job's done, complete. Because we've talked about setting a goal, which was a satisfied client. You've got your team that when you have all those meetings and you talk and you communicate, you find their goals, even if it's outside of work. You find their life goals, where they want to see themselves. And you put all that together and you get on the mission to solving it. You start working on the job with the client. You have the client, you've got their trust. You're performing what you said you were going to do. and you get to the payment and you can get your payment from them, go ahead and click that for me, please, sir. You solve the Rubik's Cube. And before you know it, you've just 2x'd your business, because people are what made that go around. Goals don't connect to missions, and missions don't connect to invoices without the people between them. So if you don't put time into people, then you're not putting time into the industry that you love, that you are passionate about, that puts food on your tables. At least mine, that's how I get fed, is my passion for the industry. And it all comes from having conversations, communicating, and trust. And you're building a relationship with the people that you work with your family, with the people that you engage with in social events, as business owners and people of the industry. People ask you all the time. I know I get it a lot. They don't want to hire me, but they want to ask me questions. And so it's I'm still communicating with them and giving them free information because, well, it's hard not to answer the question when you're asked. But that's engagement in my community that we give. It's engagement to the industry, spreading the knowledge that the people in this room have. Because I don't know if you guys know it, but you're some of the smartest men and women in the green industry. If you weren't, you wouldn't be in this classroom. You'd be doing something else. But you're in here, so you're part of the elite. Okay, you're above the standard. And I say that because standard means the minimum. That means you did the bare minimum to get by. So you want to exceed above that. You want to set a standard in which excellence is measured. Shout out to Zach for putting that in our mission statement. But it's you want to set something above minimum. So when someone says, well, we did what we had to do. It's like, okay, what you just said was, I just did the bare minimum. And this really rings a bell to me, and I'll tell you a quick story. So, hey, good morning. glad you made it. That's right. I didn't go to 4-year college. I didn't go to NC State, nothing like that. It was part of the plan, but life had other things in store for me. So that wasn't something I ended up doing. Can't say that I'd be on the same spot I am today had I done that. I think life would look much different. Probably wouldn't be what I consider successful life. But I did go to a community college in Kinston, Lenore Community College. And I met a professor there that taught me a whole lot. And in that class, because at the time I was 18, 19 years old, been in the business since I was born. My dad started in 89, I was born in 92. I mean, I was in a truck every summer on a job site. Whether I was playing with a little shovel or actually working, it's debatable. But I knew the industry. And so when I would go to that class, my instructor would talk to me and say, well, the standard says this for installing a patio. And as she's saying it, I'm shaking my head. And she's going, well, why are you shaking your head? And I'm saying, well, that's the standard, but there's better methods. And she's going, well, why would it be the standard? And I was like, well, because that's what's acceptable by people, but that's not the way it should be done. And so I really started diving into that, and it really stuck to me. I was going, there's a lot of people that think that the standard is the best, and it's not. The standard is the bottom of the bar. That is where you did just enough to keep going. And so if you do just the standard and you keep that thing moving, you may be 2x. But if you keep that thing moving really well, then you'll be 5x. Your business will go tremendously higher, all because of people. And before you know it, when you've got a team behind you, you'll go to 10x, and your company's going to really explode. Your golf course attendance is going to really increase. People are going to want to come play that course because they're going, man, that is the best course that there is. And it's beautiful. There's never any problems. They're really on top of it. They're watching the soil temps to time pre-emergent applications perfectly so that we don't have POAN on the greens. And that's important. And so that they know that. And you've taken care of them. You've served them. The whole shebang. before you know it, you've fully succeeded. Now, in here in the next slide, I've got what is success. And I talked about what success probably would look like a little differently for me had I gone to NC State, had I not gone to community college. And a quick backstory, my father had passed away in 2012, so I took over the company at a young age. Not the plan. But now I'm here. And through all of this, I've connected all the people. I've made mistakes that I could write more books about than I could probably write about success. But in all the mistakes and all of the success, I found that the people were the good thing in all of it. To every event that I've ever been in or been to, every business owner that spoke talked about the people. And met Marcy at a, I want to call it the I want to call it GIE show, but Green and Grow show. I've been going there since 2014 when I got licensed, when the board made it a thing. And Marcy said, we really want to drive into the people, which really was awesome because me and my partner Zach here, we've talked about people from the moment he started. So for 3 years, we've been building this team that revolves around people. And I started seeing that all the failures I had started going away and the success started coming. Now, some people can define success in their own way. Monetary value, business growth, as far as the amount of people you have, the amount of attendance you can get on the golf course, the number of guys you've got out there just knocking things out, making sure the greens are cut, making sure the rough's right. All of that is certainly a way you can define success. But to me, success means that at the end of the day, I know I've given everything that I can give, and that I know without a shadow of a doubt I left nothing on the table. I've produced everything I could produce. I've fulfilled every commitment I gave to someone. I've made my team aware of what we wanted. I know that at the end of the day, they're happy when they go home. And if they're not, I want to know why they're not happy, what it is we have to change in the company to make them happy. And if it's them leaving, then that's the conversation we have. Hopefully it's on good terms. Hopefully it's to better their life. And I'm cool with that. I've had more employees leave because they wanted something better for them. And those are always great relationships. I talk to those people all the time. And so that's success for me. And then coming home to my family and knowing that I'm giving the best that I can to them. And I'm not tied down to work. I'm not avoiding my family because I'm stressed out about work and what I'm going to do there. Because my family is part of this equation. They're part of that Rubik's Cube. They're part of me. I can't give the best of me if when I'm at home, I'm not the best me I can be there. So I really want to drive that home to you guys too. Leave your work at work. Certainly, if you're passionate about it, it's going to be hard to do. You're going to think about it, but don't let it ruin and run your life when you're not at work. Because what's the point of getting up every day and providing for your team and providing for your clients if you don't provide for your family? All of these are people. It starts with you, ends with your family, and it ends with success. Now, how you define success is up to everyone's interpretation. I'm not here to tell you you have to be me. I don't want you to be me. I want you to be you. I want you to run things the way that you feel you should run. However, I want you to make sure that you know that it's not just you out there. There's other people in the equation. Solve it, and you've got the magic Rubik's Cube that you can tumble, and no matter how it's flipped, you know that the people put it back together, and you've got it solved. And that's pretty much what I define as success. Now, the green industry at large, so quick backstory here too. We pretty much classify ourselves as doing anything outside. So our company started out as just mowing lawns, and that's how my dad built the business. Then we went into the customers would ask, can you do this? Yeah, we can do that. That's what he would say. Had no clue what we were doing at the time. Went home, studied, did all this stuff, became a licensed landscape contractor with a registration board at that time. So we're going back in some years there. Really started advocating for the industry because now people are asking him to do things that were going to allow him to leave his day job. So my dad left his day job, started a business, started doing things outside, started promoting it in the community. People laughed at you. You'll never make money mowing lawns. I said, well, I'm not here just to mow your lawn. I'm here to do anything you ask. I'm here to serve you. And that was the goal. And so since then, we've done that. So there's a few photos up here that will kind of emphasize the people side of it. So here, I've got a 17-year-old kid that started work. 17-year-old man. He's not a kid. That is a man. But he started working with us. He's homeschooled. He's still in high school. He's also doing college experiences. He's playing baseball. Phenomenal young man. Comes out passionate, wants to learn. So we're teaching him how to lay bricks. And you're asking, well, why are we talking about hardscapes in a turf grass council meeting? It's like, man, well, because we started cutting lawns and the customer said, hey, can you build us a patio? We started building a patio. And we're here to talk about people. And so if the people wanted us to do that, then we're serving them. And we had to ask ourselves at the time, can I do everything that they want me to do and do it to the best of my ability? Yes, we can do that. So now we're going to fulfill that. And we're going to keep expanding upon that. And so that's where we ended up. We started doing hardscape stuff. We started doing heavy excavation. We started buying bigger machinery. We started clearing land, digging foundations for homes. We do a lot of stuff with general contractors. We became licensed irrigation contractors. Started doing irrigation systems. All of that stuff revolves around the green industry. It's part of it. The green industry is, if you were to unfold a book, I'd say you fold it all the way around backwards, and that's the green industry. There's no limits to it. If you look outside, you're in the green industry, you see it. If you talk to somebody, you go to Lowe's, you go in the gardening section, there's someone in there who is wanting to improve their lawn, and that's part of you. That's you. You are the green industry. So when you see all these people out there buying plants, buying things to improve their lawn, well, that's people wanting to see the green industry excel. And you're just fortunate and lucky enough to work in it. And I think that is something spectacular. I love it. We've got photos in here of some team meetings where we've kind of slacked off on it the past month or so because things have been pretty crazy. But every Monday we try to have a team meeting, 15 minutes with the guys, where we address concerns, we explain the layout for that week. And if they've got any problems or they want something that they need more clarification on, raise your hand and point it out. Or if they don't like something the company's doing, tell us. Negative feedback is probably more important than positive feedback. Everybody can say, hey, well, you did a good job today. But they don't say, man, I wish you would do this. I wish you would do this. I wish you would do this. A lot of times they're scared to say that. But that's part of the human element. You need to know the negative too. And so one of my guys in this photo is very adamant about instructional videos that he wants us to produce, and we're going to try to get that to where he knows how to properly maintain a lawn. It's not for him because he knows how to do it. He's been doing it for a while. But he wants it so he can show the new guys that come on board, hey, this is our standard of excellence. This is the elite performance of how we do things. So if I can produce that for him, then I have satisfied my team more. I've now satisfied the new team members that are coming on, and we're providing a service for our clients at the end to where everyone's happy. They're satisfied. It's a win-win. There's no losing in that situation. When you go back out to green industry and think about how wide it is, we have a roadside litter pickup contract. Pick up litter in our county around our convenience sites. And you say, well, Shay, what does that have to do with the green industry? Well, it has everything to do with it because the green industry sometimes on the mowing side is a calendar year. Like it's parts of it that you can't do. Well, sometimes these contracts allow you to keep your crews year round. And so if you look outside the box and you say, well, I've got the guys, I've got the ability, we've got the equipment, we can fulfill that and keep them full-time, year-round employed, then when spring comes around, you're not going, all these people are calling, I don't have any employees. I hope I can find some good ones. Well, you kept all the good ones you had last year and the year before, and you've continued to solve the Rubik's Cube, and you've kept everything moving. So now you've 10x your company before you realized it. I encourage everyone to reach out in their community and do something. This is a funny photo right here. We had Christmas parade, and you say, well, what does the Christmas parade have to do with the green industry? Well, it's community. No one's gonna promote your business more than the people that you are around constantly. You can't take over the nation until you take over your town. You can't take over your state until you take over your county. You can't take over your region until you take over your state. You can't take over the nation until you take over the region. And then you can take over the nation. So you got to start with your community. You have to let them know what it is you do, that they care, that they matter. So our Christmas parade, it got kind of boring. And so I dressed up as Buddy the Elf. We had a float. We ran around with throughout business cards. We were giving away services. Scan a QR code, you get a free fire pit. Not to boost that we were giving away stuff, but I want to emphasize that the amount of smiles that we put on people's faces that day were something I can't replicate ever again. I'm going to try again next year, but I don't know that I can do it again the way I did that year. And so it's people. It's community engagement. They're going to promote you more than anyone else because they know that you're passionate about what it is you do. They're going to see that when they hire you, you're going to give that same level of dedication to them and that you're not leaving anything on the table because you've already engaged with them before they hired you. You're engaging with your employees other than just, hey man, I need you to go do X, Y, and Z today, and I hope you finish before time, just before it's time to clock out because I want to get you off my payroll. Yeah, those are fine and dandy. You want to cut payroll expenses, but you also got to care about your employees, so you got to go sell enough jobs that they can get 40 hours that week. You got to sell enough contracts that you can keep your employees employed year-round so you can take care of them because you care about them too. They've already told you their goals. They want to succeed. Well, succeeding for them is having a steady paycheck so that they know that they're taken care of. And so you've got to do that. That's people. It's everybody together. Now, I'm pretty much going to conclude the portion of my speaking. I do have a little bit of time for some questions. If anybody has any questions about people or anything really, I'm an open book. I have nothing to hide. Any questions? Oh, what you got?
When you get into something new, like major excavation, irrigation, do you hire a new person for that role, or do you go start from zero and educate yourself and move into that new role?
Yeah, so I'm a huge advocate for anything that you do new as the owner, you need to know it. Because what good is putting crew out there if you don't know what it is they're doing? So you need to know the laws around it, you need to know the proper procedures, and you need to know all of that thing. Now, there's obviously a point in business where you can't do it all. And so you have to find that within your own business as to where that is. And you have to hire someone that you trust, someone that you know is you, will produce the same thing that you're going to produce. And when you find that person, give them my business card because I want to hire them. But we've just talked about this the other day. So we're getting to a point now, I need a full-time estimator. I need someone to just go over estimates and send that stuff out. When you get to that point and you have to hire someone else to do that job, you're not hiring one guy. You're going to be hiring 3 or 4 because now that one guy is going to produce more work that your crew is already busy. They can't do that work too. So irrigation, are you thinking about getting into irrigation?
No.
Okay, but no, I think you need to know it because ultimately your company's out there doing it. So if you don't know it, you don't know what they're doing. Did I answer your question? Cool. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are hiring folks and you're talking about the reason why they should come work for you, not just the benefits of what do we pay, those
Yep.
types of things, but what's your pitch to them?
So mostly I ask them what their goal is. Is this a like I started off with, is this a short-term thing for you? Are you looking something to get by? Because what that's going to do for me, it's going to go ahead and let me know, because I know where my goals are at. Take over Eastern North Carolina from Raleigh to the coast, Wilmington to Virginia. That's my goal. So if they're short-term, then I already note, he's not going to fit these positions that I have available because he's already told me he's not short-term. I mean, he's not long-term. So I already put him in a different category. But I don't end it there going, he's not going to help me. Because what's happening is I might find that highway patrolman that we had that worked for 8 months and produce something that I couldn't replicate. And so I still want to talk with him. I want to find out, like, all right, well, are you new to the area? Did you just move here? What makes you want to come in the green industry? Are you passionate about it? Do you love it? What other skills do you have? A lot of times, because we do so much, we've got our chemical program, and I'm excited to hear some speeching on the pesticide stuff. But we've got stuff like that is driven to one particular person. You've got to have, in a business like we run, you've got to have someone that is able to run that program without me being there. And so I want to find it, like, all right, if that guy's got that niche and he's short term, can I bring him in and let him train somebody else? Like I had a guy that worked with us one time, was in a pharmaceutical background. And I was going, what are you doing here? But what it was he moved away from where he was at and he needed a job. We can put him in there, let him do well for a little while training someone else to do it. And so I don't rule anyone out until we figure out all of the exceptions of what they're here for, what their goals are. Because there might be a place for them. There's a place for everyone out there. Everybody's a puzzle piece. You just got to figure out where at on the puzzle it is. Sometimes it ain't on your puzzle, but there's a puzzle out there for you, and you figure that out. You put them in that place. Did that answer? Yeah. Cool. Sometimes I get a little rambling. So, any other questions? I got 1 minute.
Is there a tool you can't live without, be it software, be it a piece of equipment?
So we'll touch two things. Software, if you can't track your data, you don't know where your metrics are. You have to know where your money's at all times. You have to know how long it takes to do a property. You have to know the application rates, and you have to document all of that. If you can't document it and then go back and review it, then you can't run your business. So for us, we've toyed around with the past 6 months switching. We've always ran Clip. We've decided to stay with Clip. There's a few other programs out there like Jobber, Granum, LMN that work well in our industry. Clip for us, because we've had it for so long, since the early 90s, there's a lot of data in there I can't get out. And so I'm going to stay with Clip. As far as equipment goes, we have what we call the multi-assault vehicle, which is our mini skid steer with all of the attachments. That is the best employee I own. It doesn't give me any lip, shows up every day, and all I have to do is check the oil. I can't live without that machine. If it burned up, I would drive to the dealership right then and go in debt. There's no way I could live without that. Cool. Any questions? Nope.
You said you're 33?
I'm 33, yes, sir.
When you first began your brother, that gave it to you, how did you take on that?
So
How would you able to overcome that being so young?
So I'll make this pretty quick. The way I took over the business wasn't the way I intended it. My father passed away, so it was kind of a "this is what you're doing" type situation. My father had a partner named Gerald Wilson who has left us now and now works for another landscape company, which we sub out a lot of work with. However, there was a period of time there where at 19 years old, I was going to go sell jobs to customers that looked at me when I walked in and said, "How old are you?" And I'd tell them. And at the moment I told them my age, the job wasn't sold. Everything I said after that didn't matter. So I remember the first one I did was about an $80,000 retaining wall. We built the neighbor's retaining wall 2 years prior to that. I built that retaining wall that summer. It was the summer of 2010. So it was a 16-foot tall retaining wall, 120-foot long, irrigation, sod, the whole shebang. I built it that summer. Father passed away, go sell a job, 19 years old. It doesn't matter how many times I said, well, I built that one. He didn't care. When I left that meeting, I told Gerald, I said, man, he didn't hire me because I was 19. He said, don't worry about it. He's like, you know what you're doing. You know the industry. You know how to do these things effectively. You know how to do them above the standard. At 19 years old, you know more than some 30-year-olds. He's like, so just as long as you know you just continue to do you. Don't worry about them. So you have to realize what it is you want to do. And once you figure out you can figure out everything else. And that's why I emphasized that you are a person and that you're part of this. You're the main part of the equation and it ends with you. It starts with you and it ends with you. That answer your question? Sweet. Yes, sir.
I just want to say, I thought it was interesting, talking about, what is success and how you define it. Listen to y'all's story, and I don't know everybody in the room, but I know a few guys. Rarely is success ever a straight line. It's full of detours, right turns, left turns, U-turns, and everything else.
Yep.
Just about everybody. So it's just kind of cool to hear your story. Appreciate you coming out here.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. Full disclosure, this will be the first time I've spoken publicly at an event outside of high school in an FFA competition. So I haven't done this in 16 years. Thank you very much. Also,
you've been doing podcasts.
Glad you brought that up because he was about to hang me in the truck. We started a podcast, and I hate to cut into the other time, but we started a podcast 6 months ago. And the reason we brought it up is because we've had conversations about the industry, where I see the industry going, and kind of how I think that it needs to change because we don't talk about it enough. We don't show enough passion for it. It's something we love, but I'm the grounds guy. Like, that's something to be ashamed of. It's not. They couldn't do what we do. They don't know what we know. So don't be ashamed of it. Let somebody know about that. So 6 months ago, Zach came to me and was like, we're doing a podcast. I was like, bro, I work 80 hours in a 40-hour week. Let's do it. And we started a podcast. And so that's where we're at with that. And I encourage you guys to listen to it. There's going to be some episodes that may pertain nothing to you. But if there's something else you want to know, ask us. I'm an open book. There's nothing I will hide. I will tell you every bad story our company's ever had. It says powered by, and then here you can't really read it, Landscape Unlimited. It's powered by Landscape Unlimited because I'm telling you stories that I learned on the job. I'm telling you stories that I learned from the time I was born till now. And it's going to continue growing. I'm not going to hold anything back because I think it's part of the green industry. Everyone loves to hear just the successes. I'll tell it all to you. Answer your question? Cool. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.